Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on Logic Before Authority. This is going to be kind of an update on some research that I've been keeping an eye on for many years, but this is from probably back about 5 or 6 years ago when I discovered that there was a canyon in the water off the coast of New York City called Babylon Canyon. And right beside it is a canyon that's a little bit larger called Hudson Canyon. And these canyons, as you'll see, they lead right up into New York City. And I proposed that it would be the perfect location to fulfill all of the movies that have shown New York City being flooded by a tsunami, as well as fulfill all of the way the Gematria numbers line up, the way they've been showing it in many, many ways. And I tried to find my old video, and I cannot find it. It may be on some older chips that I've got put away. So I'm going to look at that, and I may upload that if I can find it. But I've still got most of the information, and I've done a couple of videos in the past about this, but why am I talking about it today? Let's get to the point. Because Biden is going to declare Hudson Canyon a marine sanctuary. Okay. And let me show you kind of where it exists here so you can see that. This is the canyon right here, straight off of the mouth of the Hudson River, okay, and Manhattan and all that area there. And the other canyon, which we're going to take a closer look at here in a moment on one of the Google products. And right beside it, right here, is Babylon Canyon, okay. And like I said, the Hudson is a bit bigger, and I'm a little surprised that although the area that they're showing, that's interesting. If this area is the actual area of the what did they call it? For the marine sanctuary, because Biden cares about fish. If this is the actual outline, actually Babylon Canyon, it would be included within this, because it's right there in the side of Hudson Canyon. And I just realized that it's included in the boundary that they're showing here that is going to be the sanctuary. So I'll read a little bit of what they said here. Now you have to understand what they're saying and what they're doing and planning is always two different things, especially when you just happen that Biden is now protecting the area where nobody can go there, of where I've been suspicious that they may set up some things that go bang, big things that go bang, to create a tsunami coming into New York City. And blame it on whoever, whoever the enemy of the day is. Of course, they would blame it on, just like what happened in New York back in 2001. Hopefully you're aware of that situation. So it says Hudson Canyon, a vast gorge in the Atlantic Ocean that is home to endangered whales, sharks, sea turtles, would become a national marine sanctuary under a proposal made by Biden administration on Wednesday. And this just came out a day or two ago. Located about 100 miles southeast of the Statue of Liberty, the Hudson Canyon would be off limits to oil and gas drilling in order to protect marine life and cold water coral. They want to save stuff. Yeah. Don't buy it for a second. Now, does it mean that that's what they're up to? No. But this is suspicious, because That canyon has been there since the first person ever set foot in New York. And now, all of a sudden, as things are heating up, as you know what I mean, with everything that's going on, and I'm watching it all, but I only want to bring things to you. I don't want to repeat propaganda news. I've grown and developed over the years, and I just can't convince myself to come on here and just repeat propaganda news in order to put y'all guys in more fear. Okay? However, if this is true, if they do have a plan of tsunami in New York City, then, well, it would be scary, especially if you live there. So, no, I can't say for sure this is going to happen. What I can say is that all the way back about 2014, maybe even, about 2014, 2015, somewhere right in there. Some of you guys will remember I started saying there is a reset coming. The propaganda that they were putting out and the symbolism they were putting out was saying time is running out. Time's up. You remember the time's up thing? Time's up. And I was saying over and over in many videos that there's a reset coming. Now, what are we right in the middle of? Yes. Unfortunately, my prophecy that a reset was coming came true. And you could call this a prophecy because personally I believe this is going to happen. And if you don't already have enough reasons not to be living in New York, especially close to the water, and I'm not talking about New York upstate, I'm talking about areas that are close to the water, like all of Manhattan and many other areas there, because there's a lot of water and a lot of rivers. But yeah, it's a prophecy that I'm putting out there that this is coming one day. And I believe this is a step that they're taking. So it says, so they're protecting the marine life, cold water coral, as well as several shipwrecks. Okay. Details including the boundaries of the proposed sanctuary and prohibited activities beyond drilling have yet to be announced. The proposal will undergo a public comment period through August 8th. So through 8/8/88 before it is finalized. And if you don't know what I'm pointing out when I say 88, it's a long story, but many of you do know. So I have another slide here, and then we're going to jump over and look at a few other things that are related to this. Let's see. The proposed designation comes as President Biden's climate and conservation agenda is stagnated in Congress. As a result, the administration has relied on executive authority to enact its goals. So in other words, just basically trying to make laws without using the system like it was originally designed. It says comparable in depth to the Grand Canyon, Hudson Canyon was created during the last ice age, they claim, and more than 10,000 years ago. It runs about 400 nautical miles in length and reaches depths of 10,500 feet. So that's a big canyon. And with a lot of water in it, that if you caused a great force to happen at the entrance to the canyon, you could drive a lot of water directly this way, and it would spread out, of course. But then you've got land coming in here. You got land coming in here. It's like a catch. So the waves, as they came in here, they would the water would start rising greatly because the angle of the land this way and this way. So if a great push was caused from here, this is the perfect setup to flood the heck out of all this area back in here. Okay? Let's pray that I'm wrong. But I don't believe I'm going to be, just like I wasn't wrong with the reset coming. Okay, so let me pull up our other screen here and continue with this. Okay, so here we are looking at Google Earth. Yeah, we can only use what we have access to, right? So here's the canyons. Let me back off here a little bit so you can get a gist of where you're at. Coming straight in off of the New York Harbor and all that area, right? And straight down here. And you have these canyons. This is Hudson Canyon, and this is Babylon Canyon, right beside it. And knowing how big it is, because I just told you how big it is, it's almost 2 miles deep and even wider. I mean, it's a huge canyon, like the size of the Grand Canyon. If you've ever seen that in person, you know what I mean when I say big. So you can imagine what kind of evil plan they could come up with coming in here, making this so you can't do anything here, and getting the setup together, right? Yep. I don't know when. I have suspicions as to certain years, but I would say this, prior to 2030, or maybe on 2030, but right in there, coming back this way towards our time right now, because we're in the middle of the Great Reset. That means they have to take down basically the last armed remaining country in the world. You heard what they did with Canada just now. Just said, oh, we're placing a freeze on new weapon purchases. A freeze? That's called a ban, because once they put that freeze in, they ain't going to thaw it out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, some people have guns up here, but they're stopped them from buying any more. And down here, you know, they're working on it, or at least it appears like they might be. My theory is that they're not actually working on taking them from us. They're actually more likely arming us for a battle that's coming. And that's in another video that I'm going to be talking about. And that is it's looking more and more like they're going to be using something like Starlink, or maybe more specifically, and I'm going to get into this in the video in depth, so I'm not going to do it here. Plus, I'm not even sure I can talk about this on this video. They're going to use radio waves for the people who have taken the upgrade, if you know what I'm saying, in the arm. They're going to be using radio waves to communicate with that person's altered DNA and mess with their emotions. They can control their fear, they can control their anger, they can control their, because they're connected to the beast, you see. If it worked, if it took, because there's always the possibility that you got a placebo if you happen to have gotten it, and then you wish you hadn't have. There's always the possibility that it just didn't work with a person. But in general, I've seen the signs, and I'm going to get into that, but not more than that in this video. It will be coming very soon. I've already started the slideshow for it and everything, and gathering the information. So now let's go and look at one more thing before I let you go. Or actually a couple of things. Let's see here. Do you remember that? This is the church that's in New York City that has this type of imagery on the pillars with angels standing above them, basically representation of angels. Of the city being completely destroyed by the water. See the water coming rushing through, and the cars are flipping and turning. Here's another one. Big kablooey in the middle of the city. All the buildings falling down. This is their way of telling you. You can see one over here with a bunch of dead bones and skulls. And what city is this? We know that's the New York skyline. They already took down these two, didn't they? But they have a bigger plan. Much bigger plan. So you should remember that. And let's see, I had another thing I wanted to show you. And you might remember this. Do you remember that? Oh, you can't even see it. Hang on. Something went wrong here. Okay. Bear with me a second. I can't even hit pause because I can't see my... Hang on a second. Let me make sure I think I got it right now. I'll find out when I click it again. Okay. We'll come back to... Let me see what happens if I click. Okay, here's Obama with the rainbow in his hand. Okay. Remember the rainbow covenant? Are they breaking the covenant right now? They are. They're altering the DNA. It's the worst thing in God's eyes that you could do. And he destroyed the world, or at least killed off all the population before for this, and then made the covenant that he wouldn't do it again with water. But they're going to do it in a smaller way. That's their plan, is to defy God and act as God. This was Obama in Hawaii pretending like he is, see it splashing over his head, the water coming. And here he is pretending like he's body surfing, and that's not how you body surf. All this was, and here was his logo, his icon, his logo at the time. This was Obama's. With the wave, and the wave, the water is got a flag on it. Let's see if I can show you again here. Hopefully my screen didn't just go black. I think it's still recording, so let's go ahead and go back to what I wanted to show you. Water coming over his head. They do this stuff for a reason and release these photos. See the flags in the water? This is saying this is the United States. Yep. And here is the logos of the waves. Let me go back to that again. I've got this on the slideshow, so it kind of goes kind of quick. See the wave? So when you tip a Pepsi up to you and you look at the can on the side, there's a tsunami coming after you. They put these hints, just like they did for 9/11. They put these hints in all kinds of things. And I wish I could say that I'm wrong about what I'm talking about, but I'm not. Okay, let's see if I can close that slideshow. Okay, and let's see if you can still see my screen. Yep, everything's good so far still, I think, hopefully. Okay, I'm going to look at just a little bit of gematria, and I'm going to show you, okay? And this gives hints as to when this might happen as well. But if we look at the mathematical, it's called gematria. It's the mathematical method of converting numbers into letters. They invented this, okay? You would probably say the Jewish rabbis and the occult, they invented gematria. And they use it as a way to plan and do things. Everything's done by the numbers. By the numbers and by the stars and their movements in the heavens is how they do things. So we can see that kind of stuff in the numbers. We can also see it in their symbolism and everything that they're doing. So we have the Hudson River, and you can see the equivalents that it comes up with when you calculate it in a couple of different methods, one called Jewish, English, and simple. Okay. Let's see what, because this is typically how they work in one way. Let's see what is equivalent to Hudson River or Hudson Canyon. Well, when it comes to the one I use the most, which is English and simple, 918 for Hudson Canyon is also 918 for Hudson River. It is also, when you look at the Hudson River version of 1266, you also get President Joseph Biden. And when you look at the English version, you'll get Joseph R. Biden Jr., 918, which again is the same as the English versions here. Okay. So let's look and see what else we see. President Pence could be interesting. The Illuminati. Okay. So the Illuminati is exactly the same mathematically as Hudson Canyon. Okay. And then we have the Aquarius age. You know, the water bearer has to do with water pouring out. And it also matches nuclear warheads by Quinkadink. I know there's some of you that will say nuclear weapons don't exist in the way that they say they do. And I get that. And they might not. But they do have some big bombs. They've got things worse than nuclear weapons. Trust me, they have things worse than nuclear weapons. They've had these technologies for a long time. You can think back about the Tunguska event in northern Russia. That wasn't no rock that fell out of the sky. It also matches La Palma tsunami, asteroid impact, and just happens to match like the first half of the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, all the way to Q in exact order. Matches it right here with 918, English and simple. So it's in the numbers, you might say. I mean, what else do you want to see? It gives you the way, the method, the time, by who, and the people in charge during the time. And matches the exact river and the canyon. Quinkadink, right? Okay. Now, guys, I'm working on this right now. Let's click out of here. And let's go right down to here. And here is as you can see, the Iris World project that I'm still working on. And I have the 5th part coming out very soon, where I'm going to explain why I said some of the things I said in that video and explain some of the bigger concepts. I'm going to try to bring it all together is what I'm going to do. Okay, and then I have the Black Rainbow investigation. And I'm going to get into that probably in my next video. And then I have research I'm doing and watching when it comes to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, which I call the drop door hog trap. You know. And of course, if you've got your money in there now, you probably feel a little bit trapped, don't you? That's why I call it the drop door hog trap. Now, they're not done with it. It's gonna continue on, but ultimately, that's what it is. And then another area that I'm doing work on is the coming destruction of the U.S. dollar, which is tied to this. And then another one I'm working on is the planned attack on our food systems here. And then I have a couple of more as well that I'm working on. This one, as well as a couple of more that I think you'll like. So I'm working on a number of different things, and what I'm using this system, and it's new to me, so I'm having to get used to it. But what it does, it allows me to be able to share my slides with you. Like if you're a member over on my Patreon account, you've been able to see, and I even shared this through my community page one time, you've been able to see the slides on Iris World, even a lot more slides than I've even talked about. There's like 750 slides on there for this. And these I'm still working on building up, and as soon as this one will probably be ready to share on Patreon probably in the next few days. So if you're not a member over on Patreon, you can be one for $1 and $1 a month. And you won't miss any of these things because I'll be sharing them, okay, with you. And I'm going to continue building these where they sit until either I can't any longer or the event happens, okay, of whatever it is that I'm talking about. We can see the attack on the food systems. They're burning down all the plants out there. So I'm continuing on, but I'm just not going to bring you just everyday propaganda videos. But guys, I want to say something else too. I got a second extension on my place where I'm staying right now. However, in about 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure I got to be out of here. It don't sound like I'm going to get another one. And I'm not in a position financially to be able to get another place. They raised the rent $200 a month on me just to stay here for the last 2 months. And I'm not sure if I want to try to get an RV or something or what, but I'll tell you this. I need y'all guys' support, okay? And y'all guys always come through every time that I ask you straight out like this. So I know you will, but I need your support. I can't do these things, and I'm not the only one that needs your support. There's other people out there. If you've got other people that are doing great work, you need to try to support those people too, not just me. Now, don't hurt yourself. All you got to do is break off the corner of one slice of bread out the loaf, and because there's going to be other people that's helping. You don't have to put it all on yourself and feel like you have to hurt yourself to help somebody like me. It just takes a good number of you with a little corner off one slice of bread, and we get to make it. Guys like Casey over at Enter the Stars, and other guys out there, Adam, that I've shared a couple of his videos on my channel, on my community page. And there's a bunch of other guys. I'm not saying those are the only one or two, because it's not. There's some other guys. And we depend on y'all guys to be there for us, because we're here for you. I've been here 12 years, so I've been here for you, haven't I? Now, some of you may be new, but not many, because YouTube will not let me get to 100,000. I've been between 94,000 and 98,000 for like 2 years. I don't know if they just go in and unsubscribe a bunch of people to keep me from going up or what, but they do it. So all my links to where y'all guys can support my work are down below. I really like Patreon, but also PayPal. My checking account with Wells Fargo got magically closed without me doing anything to cause it to be magically closed. So I can't take any direct transfers into my checking account right now. because I don't have it anymore. They just closed it. And also Amazon closed my influencer page as out of the blue, just gone. So my options are narrowing down as to how I can get support from y'all guys. All right, I've ran my mouth enough. I want y'all guys to know that they're doing what they're doing when it comes to this area of suspicion right off the coast of New York City. And I wanted you to know also that I'm working on all these other projects right now. And I'm going to continue to do it as long as I possibly can. And as things kind of develop with me and what I'm going to do, I'll be updating y'all guys on that as well. So, last thing. Almost forgot. Most of you probably already gone. Is anybody still out there? Anyways, I'm going to start doing a once a week on Saturday study of words. Words that are important. Some of it, probably most of it will be biblical. But not all of it. We're going to study some things because it's what I'm doing anyways. It's like I'm pulling up. Let me see if I've got it here. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Like the study of words. Do you know what? Well, put it this way. You think you know what these words mean when you read like this scripture. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth. So the serpent cast water out of his mouth, and the earth opened up her mouth, it says, and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. Now this sounds like, obviously it's symbolism, okay? And this is related probably to the video I'm just talking on right now, New York and everything. And what I'm saying is that you really don't understand what this means until you understand for sure what the words translated back into Greek in this case, since this is the Revelations. You have to study each word in order to understand even a verse, and spend copious amounts of time understanding what they mean. And so every Saturday from now on, we're going to be studying, and I'm going to do it live. Okay, I haven't done live videos in a long time. But I'm trying to think, okay, what is it that I'm already doing that I could do with y'all guys? Because I know some of you would wish that I had more videos as of recent. And so I'm trying to do that because I don't want to just come on here and tell you the sky's falling, the sky's falling. Because there's an element of the sky's falling that is propaganda, and some of it will never come to pass. They want us to believe we're out of options, that we don't have any choices, that we're surrounded. That's what they want us to believe. And so they will project that through the media in order to try to convince the most amount of people and wear out the saints. But we don't want that. So that's why I can't do as many videos warning of different things like I used to. Now, I will still come and warn you like I have done today. Or at least not warn you, but educate you as to what's happening. But I think a good study every Saturday, because I believe Saturday is more likely the Sabbath than the Sunday. Anyways, we're going to do that, and I hope y'all guys like that. So, do what you can. I'll make announcements on the exact times and stuff on each Saturday. Probably Saturday afternoon after people have a chance, if they go to church, they can come back and then participate in what I'm doing here. So do what you can to break me off a little piece of bread, if you would, please. 2 weeks from now, I've got a really tough position to be in, and I'm counting on y'all guys, because you're the only thing I have. You're the only thing I've invested my time in now for over a decade. I love you, and our Father in heaven loves you. And I will be back with you again real soon. Talk to you later.